Okay, now we're going to move on to the second step. We're going to add the text to the poem on the poem backdrop and then find some images that represent some of the lines in our poem. So I'm going to go ahead and click the green flag and make sure that my start page does what I want it to do. I got to my poem background. So now I'm going to add the text of the poem as sprites. So I'm going to go to the paint, T for text, and I'll type in the title. I don't think I like that color. We'll change the color, make sure it's selected. Go to fill, something that contrasts with the background or matches some of the other colors. That's okay, a little bit bigger. Okay, so I can generally place it on the stage. So now that I want, it's fine that I have the title stay there the whole time, so I don't necessarily need it to be just by itself. I need to also say what kind of poem this is. So I'm going to add this to the same sprite. Five senses poem. Okay, so now I want to add each line of my poem as a separate sprite. I'm just going to keep the same color. Okay. So I'm going to keep working so that I add each line, and each line is sort of going from the top to the bottom. I want each line or groups of one or two lines to be by themselves a sprite, so I can code them to come in when I want. Alright, now that I have the text of my poem, most of them, well, all of mine are a separate sprite. I'm going to get into the coding part. So when the green flag is clicked, I don't want to see them. I want to just have my start screen. So when green flag is clicked, I go to looks and hide. Okay, same with the title and what kind of poem it is. So before, I'm just going to copy that one bit into each of the sprites. Okay, I can also put that in my backpack. There it is. I can just copy it in from there. If I go to the sprite, I can open up my backpack and bring it in. Alright, so now I want to know how to show them when it's time to show. So kind of like before, when we had the sprite was clicked, the hid, it broadcast hide to my other text, and then it switched to the poem backdrop. So again, there's lots of different ways to be able to code this to work. That's a great thing about code. It's really creative. I'm going to show you one way, and if you find another way to do it, that's great. So I'm going to have it hide, and I'm going to use the messages. So when I receive the message poem, I want my title to show up and 5 senses. So when it receives that message, show. And if I want to make sure it's in a certain spot, I can go ahead and drop in a go-to, so that way it'll always be at that spot. So now it needs to get that message. So I have to pick a sprite that's going to tell it that's the message. I'm going to use my same, when the sprite is clicked, my start message. So not only is it going to say broadcast hide to hide the other text, it's also going to say to show the poem text. So I'm going to go to events, add that broadcast block in, broadcast the poem. So the poem's going to start. So I have the title. Okay. So I have the title, it's going to show, but now I want my first line of text to come in a few seconds after that. So I'm going to go down to the control blocks and bring in a wait. We'll try 1 second. Maybe that's going to be too short, too long. I can change that later. So it's going to wait, then it's going to send another message. It's going to broadcast my first line. Call that line 1. Okay, it's good. It's going to broadcast line 1. So I go to the line 1. It's hidden until it receives the line 1 broadcast. I go to looks. Then it's going to show up. So I use the same process that I did for when it's clicked. For this, I'm going to have it wait and then broadcast another message. So it's going to wait. I'm going to have it wait for a little longer so we can read and have time for an image to come in. It's going to wait for 6 seconds and then it's going to broadcast my next line. So broadcast line 2. Okay, so I go to line 2. It's hidden. When I receive line 2, I'm going to show, and then it has to bring in the other line. So it's going to wait. I'll do another 6 seconds. And then it's going to broadcast line 3. So I'm going to do this same process. Receive a line, shows it, waits for 6 seconds, then it broadcasts for the next line to come in. I'll do that to each of the lines. So this is a lot of bringing in the same kind of blocks, right? So this is a good reason to use that copy feature. I'm just going to drag this line because I'm using the same blocks all the time. I'm just going to change the broadcast names. Okay, so there's line 2. When I receive line 3, I'm going to show, and I'm going to broadcast a new message, line 4. Okay, now at this point, the end of the line is coming, then in my poem, and pretty soon I'm going to have my end screen that goes at the end. So now I'm going to broadcast the message end. So when it gets to that message, then it's going to switch to my end text. It's going to switch to my end backdrop. So I'm going to put my end backdrop in there. And I'll get to the end backdrop later. Right now we're just laying down the text, getting some of the coding together, and getting the images for the lines of the code. So let's see how it goes so far. I'm going to hit the green flag, click here to start. That was my 1 second wait. I wait 6 seconds, and the other line comes in, waits another 6 seconds, broadcast the message, the next line comes in. Same thing. So now I need to bring in images that kind of match what each line is about. So my first line is about the taste of summer is like fresh picked strawberries. So I'm going to try to find a strawberry picture. Kids splashing in the pool. I'll try to find something with the swimming pool. fresh cut grass, I'll try to find a picture of some grass. Sun, try to find a picture of a sun, and maybe something for summer. So I'm going to go back to a Google search. I'm going to do an image search for strawberries. Okay, so now I need to make sure that I go into Tools, Color, and find something with a transparent background, so when I bring it in, it's not going to have a white background behind it. I got the checker boxes. That most likely means I've got one. I'm going to save it into my Scratch poem project. Okay, so I got my strawberries. Now I need pool, something about a pool. Okay, now, so I have all those images. I saved in my folder. I'm going to bring each one in as a sprite. I'm going to go to my Sprites, upload sprite from the computer. Find, okay, there's my sun. I'm not going to worry about the size. I'm just going to bring them all in. Okay, so I got them all. They're different sizes. They're not in the right spot, but I'm going to fix all that with the code and really using that broadcast message to make them appear when I want them and then have them move across the screen. So that'll be the next step. Make sure we get all the text in, find pictures for the text, and we'll do the next step in a little bit.